Hey everyone, welcome to yet another guided newspaper class. And we organize these classes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday with the aim to help students improve their fundamentals of speaking, of writing, of vocabulary, all of them. Hi Shivam, I hope you're doing well. I am just waiting for more students to join, and I will get started after that. Yeah. Okay. All right. Hi, Akash, and everyone else who is watching me right now. Welcome. And today's article is also very interesting. This is about acknowledging and preserving mental health. Okay. Right. So, as usual, you know the drill. We will do a little bit of reading first, and then we will get to speaking, and that's when you will get started with writing. All right. Okay. Hi, Akash. Hi, Shiv Kailash. Welcome to this class, and glad that you guys are attending these classes regularly. And I truly hope that you benefit from these classes, right? As in, you're writing down vocabulary, you are also practicing to write and speak sentences on your own. I truly hope you're doing all of that. Okay, that's when you will actually benefit. All right. Okay. Okay. So without any further delay, let's get started with reading first. So you're just going to pay attention to me read this article, and then I will explain you the article a little more in detail. Okay. All right. So just pay attention to what I am reading right now. While the world battled COVID on the front lines, we all faced battles of our own on the inside. Laborers, employees, business owners, most of us at some point in the past year have faced some form of mental health challenge. Given that, how have organizations been coping with a constantly stressed out workforce? What are some best practices that companies can adopt in order to ensure employee welfare while they work from home? In part one of this two-part series, we explored the mental health issues caused to working professionals during the pandemic. In this piece, we examine the role of the organization in maintaining and enhancing the mental well being of the employees, what companies have been doing, and what the way forward may be in the next normal. Okay, moving ahead. The first step in dealing with a problem is acknowledging its existence. Historically, organizations have been reticent to admit that their employees face mental stresses. The employee employer relationship has been limited to the work that the employee was hired to do. However, even pre pandemic, that trend had started to shift ever so slightly. Companies had begun to recognize the need for a holistic and safe environment for employees to thrive. But when the pandemic hit, it brought the conversation about long term mental health effects to the forefront. According to a survey by Mindshare Partners, 42% respondents reported a decline in mental health from the start of the pandemic. That comes with creating an environment where team members feel safe enough to share their well being struggles, be it physical, mental, financial, or any other concerns under the wellness umbrella. Extending access to mental health support. One of the important takeaways from the LMX model, a relationship based approach to leadership that focuses on the two-way relationship between leaders and followers, is that the attitude of workers and subordinates depend largely on how they are treated by their leaders. When focusing on mental health and well being, the same holds true. As mentioned previously, the kind of environment superior set create will directly affect the ease with which employees will be able to open up. That said, employers and managers are not generally professional experts when it comes to matters surrounding psychological difficulties, and at times there is a need for professional intervention. In such situations, if an organization can provide that much needed access to professional help, it goes a long way in making employees feel safe and cared by their paymasters. Okay, Starbucks did that, and also a lot of other companies. Now, you understood this article, obviously. Please let me know on the chat that whether you understood what this article meant or no. Yeah, good. Okay, wonderful. Nice to know that you understood most of it. Okay, what we're going to do now is to understand the article a little more in detail. We'll pick up some less common words and try to understand what they mean. Okay, yeah. Let's get started then. Let's go right from the top and start understanding the article a little more in detail. Great, great. Yeah. So while the world battled COVID on the front lines, battled, fought, okay, we all faced battles of our own on the inside, interior, inside us. Laborers, employees, business owners, most of us at some point in the past year have faced some form of mental health challenge. Okay, faced is to come across, is to be hit by, is to be affected by. Okay, good Nishit, Shiv Kailash, and Akash. Yeah. Given that, how have organizations been coping with? Coping with is to adjust with. Okay, to be adjusting to something, been coping with a constantly stressed out workforce. What are some best practices that companies can adopt? Adopt is to implement, it's different from adapt, which is to adjust. Adjust, cope, adopt, adapt all mean the same. Adopt, on the other hand, is to practice something. Okay, in order to ensure employee welfare while they work from home. In part one of this two-part series, we explored the various mental health issues. Explored, searched, researched on. That's what explored means. Cost to working professionals during the pandemic. Okay. In this piece, we examine, study, analyze the role of the organization in maintaining, making sure that's intact and enhancing, increasing the mental well-being of employees, what companies have been doing, and what the way forward may be in the next normal. Right? So basically, this is a two-part series where people are, or this particular organization, People Matters, is trying to understand what these mental health issues are and what companies are doing and what they may be doing as a solution in their way forward. Yeah, that's what this article is about. And the first is to recognize that, know that this is there, and acknowledge that this problem is there. And that's what they're saying here is in dealing with this problem, you have to understand that it's existent. Existence means something that's there. Okay, to acknowledge its existence means presence. Acknowledging is to understand, or is to kind of agree with that fact, or is to make sure you pay attention that it is there. That's acknowledge. Historically, organizations have been reticent to admit that their employees face mental stresses. Reticent means to be hesitant. Okay, is to not come out of their own secrets and say that employees were facing these mental issues. Reticent is to be hesitant. Okay, is to be shy, basically, to say this. The employee-employer relationship had been limited to the work that employee was hired to do. Now, as in, your relationship with your employer is just limited to whatever work you did, nothing more than that. And but this changed even pre-pandemic. This started to shift ever so slightly, at least a little bit. It started to change pre-pandemic. Companies had begun to recognize the need for a holistic and safe environment for employees to thrive, to work. Holistic means to be wholesome, both work wise and well being wise. Okay, work life balance, that's holistic, right? But when the pandemic hit, it brought the conversation about mental health effects to the forefront. Forefront to the fore, to in front of everyone else. That's forefront. According to a survey, so many respondents, people who responded, reported a decline in mental health from the start of the pandemic. Right? That's what they mean. Now, moving ahead, that comes with creating an environment where team members feel safe enough to share their well being struggles. That's what this is. Now, are you clear until now, all of you? Shiv Kailash, Nishit, Akash, Shivam, and everyone else who is silently watching me. I hope all of you are clear. Yeah? Okay, wonderful. All right. Okay. Okay, great. So let's move ahead to the rest of the article. One of the important takeaways from the LMX model, a relationship based approach to leadership that focuses on two-way relationship between leaders and followers, is that the attitudes of workers or subordinates depend largely on how they are treated by their leaders. So the leader is good, then the subordinate is also maintaining a healthy attitude. But if the leader is bad, the attitude of the subordinate is also going to be the same. When focusing on mental health and well being, the same holds true. Okay, as mentioned previously, the kind of environment your surrounding superiors create will directly affect the ease with which employees will be able to open up. So, if you are kind of open as a leader, you will be able to get responses of mental health issues from your subordinates. That's how it is. Now let's move ahead. That said, employers, managers are not generally professional experts when it comes to matters surrounding psychological difficulties. As in, they're not really experts. They don't know that people experience these issues. And at times, there is a need for professional intervention. Intervention means to be participative in something, means to take part in some issue. In some situations, if an organization can provide that much needed access to professional help, access is to reach professional help, it goes a long way in making employees feel safe and cared by their paymasters, right? Feel safe and cared is again, so if you're kind of reachable as a leader, and if you're making sure that professional help is accessible to a certain employee, then the employee will not feel scared, or the employee will not feel hesitant to come out and express his or her issues, right? Reticent means to be hesitant, Shiva. Okay, all right. Yeah. So I hope the article is now clear. And I also hope you understood all the other difficult words and you're making note of these phrases. Goes a long way. Okay. When it comes to matters like matters surrounding, a good phrase again. Holds true, also a good phrase, collocation, right? Creating an environment. Okay, that's also a great phrasal or a collocation mostly, and depend largely on. Okay, again, a good collocation. Let's see. We'll go ahead. All of these, basically, reticent is a good word to use. Brought the conversation to the forefront. To the forefront means, in front of everyone else. And then we have coping with, which is a phrasal verb. Adopt is a good word to use. Examine is also a good, less common word to use. Enhancing, also a good word to use, right? Have faced. Faced is to come across something. I also hope, yes, correct. I also hope that you're taking note of these words, right? And this is how your reading speed improves. And this is how your confidence in speaking the language improves. And that's the magic of reading. Okay, so please make sure that you don't skip this habit of reading well, right? Okay, good. Akash, Shivkailash, and Shivam, Prabsimran, hi, Nishit. I find you are helping each other here on the chat. Good job. And yes, great way of understanding these words. Right. So let's proceed to do some guided speaking. Okay. As in, I will ask you to repeat these sentences to yourself in the same way that I am using them. Yes. And the point here is to help you understand. The point here is to help you understand how sentences should be pronounced and what kind of stresses you should include in those stresses, in those sentences. Okay. And that depends on, of course, the words that you use and what those words play, what roles those words play. Correct. So it's important for you to understand that before even you do guided speaking. That's why I did guided reading. Okay. All right. So let's proceed to do guided speaking. You're going to do it the same way and I do it. Yeah. Let's get started. Yes. While the world battled COVID on the front lines, we all faced battles of our own on the inside. Laborers, employees, business owners, most of us at some point in the past year have faced some form of mental health challenge. Given that, how have organizations been coping with a constantly stressed out workforce? What are some best practices that companies can adopt in order to ensure employee welfare while they work from home? In part one of this two-part series, we explored the various mental health issues caused to working professionals during the pandemic. In this piece, we examine the role of the organization in maintaining and enhancing the mental well-being of the employees, what companies have been doing, and what the way forward may be in the next normal. Okay. Yeah. Next, the first step in dealing with a problem is acknowledging its existence. Historically, organizations have been reticent to admit that their employees face mental stresses. The employee employer relationship had been limited to the work that the employee was hired to do. Okay. Yeah. However, even pre-pandemic, that trend had started to shift ever so slightly. Companies had begun to recognize the need for a holistic and safe environment for employees to thrive. Okay, yeah. Next, one more paragraph. But when the pandemic hit, it brought the conversation about the long-term mental health effects to the forefront. According to a survey by Mindshare Partners, 42% respondents reported a decline in mental health from the start of the pandemic. Okay, all right. So did you guys do guided speaking with me? Yes. Were you able to do it? Quickly give me a yes on the chat, on the live chat. And I also want everyone to participate here. Yeah, okay. All right, okay. Nice, good, good. Akash, nice. Nishit, very good. Anyone else who did it? Yeah. Okay, so now what we're going to do is to write some sentences. Yeah, and you are going to use the words that you learned to frame sentences. Now, remember that whenever you learn a new word, it is important to understand which part of speech it belongs to. Does it belong to adjectives? Does it belong to nouns? Does it belong to adverbs, verbs? What? Okay, you have to recognize that. Now let's take a look at some examples of words that we learned today. Now we learned reticent, it means hesitant, it is an adjective. Existence, on the other hand, means presence, it's a noun, right? And coping with is a verb here, correct? And adopt is also a verb. Respondent is a noun. So this is how you learn new words, and you learn them along with whether they are an adjective, preposition, or whatever, adverb or whatever. Yeah, all right. So what you're going to do is to frame sentence with any of the words that you learned today, but let's try and frame it with the word adopt, okay, because this is one commonly mistaken word. So you're going to frame a sentence with adopt. So adopt means anything that's I mean, you are implementing something. All right, that's what adopt means. So let me know a sentence with the word adopt on the live chat. And adopt here is used as a verb. Okay, so try framing a sentence with that. Yeah, all right. Now it can be used to solve a problem. It can be any sentence that's solving a problem. It can be anything that you are implementing or whatever that is. Just make sure that you are framing a sentence with adopt. Okay, yeah, all right, great. Okay. Okay, wonderful. So, yes, most of the students are reticent to ask questions in class. Good, Shiv Kailash. We have adopted innovative ways of learning. Good one, Akash and Shiv Kailash. Let's see if anyone else can do this. Yeah. All right, nice. Okay, so go ahead and keep posting your sentences from the words that you learned today. And remember, this is how you improve your vocabulary as well, right? So I'll see you on Friday with another article. Until then, you make sure you are safe and you are practicing and you're consistent with your preparation. Yes. So I'm also going to leave you with the link to the admissions form. You can use that to express interest in our advanced programs. And this is not applicable to anyone who is already one, but if you really feel that you can be coached in a better way by us, you can just fill up this admissions form, right? And I'm just leaving you with the link here. Yes. Great. I'm also pinning that chat for your convenience. Okay. I'll also leave that in the description of this window. And I will see you on Friday again. Bye bye. Have a good evening.